The next hunt, resident and non-resident antlered muzzleloader hunt 1371. Again, just 3 minor changes, just some housekeeping details with respect to creation of the new units in Renville and Esmeralda counties, and the addition of 254 along with 251 and 253. No recommended changes on season dates there.
Any questions? County advisory boards? General public? I'll bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Rain.
Move to approve resident, non-resident mule deer antlered muzzleloader hunt 1371 as presented by the department.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Rain, second by Commissioner Wallace. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passed unanimous.
Next hunt's resident and non-resident mule deer antlered longbow archery hunt 1341. Very few changes here as well. The same housekeeping details with unit creation 254. There's 2 changes on recommended season dates. The late archery hunt in area 10 has been reduced by a few days, and 203 has been proposed for a late hunt, companion hunt to the early hunt in there, based on sportsman concerns or complaints over a hot mosquito-laden hunt and a desire to hunt cooler temperatures and better conditions. And those are the only 2 changes.
Any questions? Seeing none, I'll take it out to the cabs and general public. Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Rain.
First, I find the explanation of the 203 hunt accurate as well as colorful. Thank you. I move to approve resident, non-resident mule deer antlered longbow archery hunt 1341 as presented by the department.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Rain, second by Commissioner Wallace. Any more discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, for the record, Pete Bradley and Al. No season changes for the 61, 51, and 62, 51 seasons for black bear, September 15th to December 31st. Any questions?
Any questions? Seeing none, I'll take it out to the public. Cabs? Kathy? I'm sorry, I can't.
Yeah, just to be clear, what we're considering is the 2013 black bear seasons. So hunt 6151, the resident, and the companion non-resident 6251, which includes the open unit groups and the season dates.
Come on up.
Larry Allen, Humboldt County.
We had a motion passed, we wanted to see the bear season adjusted to be open 24 hours a day in all the open units, both seasons. Thanks.
Come on up, Kathy, and then Rex.
I wasn't sure if that was going to be brought up, and that's why. Kathy Smith, Reno, Nevada. I found it quite disturbing that there has been illegal activity hunting our bears, and this activity, quote, took off like wildfire. It really says a lot about the hunting ethics here in Nevada. And the cougar and the bear have become intertwined due to this illegal activity, so I'll have to comment on both species. I agree with the department's suggestion that the hours of cougar hunting should be altered to help decrease this illegal behavior. There's already one hunt unit where cougar hunting is not allowed at night because Utah does not allow hunting more than 30 minutes after sunset, and it shares the border with Utah. In fact, out of the 10 states that allow cougar hunting, at least 7 out of 10 do not allow nighttime hunting of cougars. So I don't think it would be too much to ask to disallow hounding 30 minutes after sunset in 9 of the 134 units. Also, when data already exists suggesting that differentiating male and female bears is difficult, how difficult do you think it would be to do at night? How difficult would it be to determine if a sow is lactating? How do you think the dogs would fare against predators at night? I was able to check every other state, except one that wasn't online, that allows bear hunting, and none allow the nighttime hunting of bears. Does Nevada really want to be the first in that respect? You should never reward bad behavior, making illegal activity legal. Once again, the cabs want hunter convenience to trump the wildlife. Thank you.
Thank you. Rex?
Again, we had quite a discussion on black bear hunt in Washoe County, and by majority vote, we recommend to accept the department's recommendations.
Any other cabs or general public?
For the record, Kelly Strain. I'm local and I hunt. Speaking for myself, I don't believe there has been anyone arrested or got in trouble for hunting bear at night, so it's kind of a moot point to say that we're breaking the law or doing anything illegal because it hasn't happened. It's like chasing shadows. But in all honesty, if we are looking at being gentler on the dogs and the bears, running at night will be a lot easier on both animals because you're running in the coolness during them hard, hot times of the months that we're hunting. And you still have the time to determine what you're taking or not taking. So it's worked in the past on the lions, and we're still getting our harvests, and everything's easier on the animals at that time. In the wintertime, you don't do it, it's too cold. But during the times of these bear hunts, I think it's something to consider. Be easier on both animals. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the commission. Karen?
Jack.
Oh, sorry about that.
Couldn't get off fast enough. Beverly McGrath, representing Nevada Humane Society, Best Friends Animal Society, Northern Nevada, SPCA, Nevada Political Action for Animals, Wiley Animal Rescue Foundation, Tahoe Wolf Rescue, Tahoe Pet Network, Lake Tahoe Humane Society, and SPCA. I'm sorry, there's one more I've forgotten. I just want to go on record that all of these groups are opposed to extending the hunt to any different time period. Thank you.
Thank you. Come on up.
Turn in a yellow card to talk. Station Newman, Nevada Political Action for Animals President. I just wanted to mention that night bear hunting involves more than just hunting hours. This change opens up more ethical and public safety issues. This adds 12 more hours of hunting, doubling the hunting hours in a day. the public has not been given enough notice to properly prepare for testimony, and the hunting hours does not meet the statutory requirement of clear and concise notice in the situation. So the possibility of night bear hunt was not on the agenda. We're only talking about the hours, on just a very vague mention of that, and this may be an open meeting law violation of NRS 241, which states that the notice must contain clear and complete statement of the topics that are going to be scheduled to be heard. So can we have a ruling on this and maybe continue it on to discussion in the future? We're asking for the existing one to stay in place, the bear not to be hunted at night.
Can you help
Thank
us
you.
out with that, David?
Maybe while Mr. Newton's working on his answer, just a quick point. We've been pretty open as far as the exchange of comments and everything with everyone. I haven't been calling up cards because there's a lot of back and forth. I have most of you. If you haven't filled out a card today, get it to me just for our recording secretary. And we'll go through them again in public comment period. But just to let you guys know, if you haven't got one in today, get it for me. We've been a little open with 12 just because there's been so much back and forth. So don't be shy about coming up to talk.
Mr. Newton, if you look at agenda item 12B, it includes all of our game animals, and it includes limits, hunting hours, special hunt eligibility, animal gender, has all that right in our main agenda.
Yeah, it's clearly noticed that you're going to be considering hunting hours. And the black bear hunt is included in that list. So I don't believe there's any problem with you considering hunting hours for black bears based on the notice contained in 12B.
Reese?
For the record, Mike Reese from the Southern Nevada Coalition for Wildlife. In the backup information on here, as you can see up there, item number 2, the second dot down there, hunting hours are 1/2 hour before sunrise to sunset. It's clearly stated. And for the record, there is no limitation on sows other than the total number that's been taken out. So if a bear hunter actually takes a sow, they are not committing a crime. It's figured into the quota. The quota is set at 20.
Commissioner Young?
Question for Chief Bonamici. Rob, what is the essentially doubling the time that you'd have to have enforcement operations going? What are some of the challenges with this, and particularly at night?
For the record, Rob Bonamici, Chief Game Warden. What the issues are and the reason for the original recommendation of closing the lion to night hunting during the bear season in the bear units. The issues stem from, historically, we've checked, less than half a dozen lion hunters in those units per year, and now we're up to 15 to 20, depending on the unit and so forth. Lion hunters from other states that, in talking to other states, they're known to hunt bear in those states. So what the issue is, it's not so much a bear lion issue as it is having a lion tag to cover potential illegal guiding activity. So it's not a bear lion resource issue from our perspective. And we've heard a tremendous amount of input from the county advisory boards and sportsmen's groups and all that. And there's been a lot of concern over shutting the mountain lions to shutting it down to night hunting. So we're going to withdraw that portion of our request at this point in time.
Question?
Commissioner Rain?
There's a further question for Mr. Bonamici, and then I believe Commissioner Lane also had a question. What is the penalty if you catch someone out there he's got a lion tag and he goes out, he gets a bear in a tree and he shoots him at night? What's the penalty? What do you do to him?
It's a felony for the unlawful taking of a big game animal without a tag.
And that felony penalties include?
Anything from, there's a civil penalty provision, there's criminal penalty provision, and loss of vehicle potentially, camping equipment, rifles, whatever.
Jail time up to?
Up to a year.
And civil penalties up to?
The civil penalties, if I recall right, are up to $20,000 for the bear.
So you got up to $20,000, you lose basically everything you're using to go hunting with, and your freedom for up to a year if these people are doing and convicted of what the supposition that some people might be out there for. Okay, want to be clear on that.
Okay, Commissioner Macbeth?
I'm not going to be supporting any change of the season, the hours, the hunting hours, for the same reason. We had a petition by No Bear Hunt to not use dogs, and one of the stipulations was we were going to bring it back after 3 years and consider it. And so for the very same reason, I'm not going to be making any vote to make any changes on the hunting hours.
Commissioner Drew?
Just to follow that up, I should have bought Commissioner Macbeth lunch because he's making all my points for me today, but I know personally it would be very disingenuous for me to support changing these hours given the discussions we had yesterday. And to be perfectly blunt and honest, I think it'd be very disingenuous of this board to make that change today. So I definitely won't be supporting this.
Any further discussion?
I'll go discussion.
Commissioner Rain?
As far as the hours, I think when I signed up on the bear issue, I signed up for 3 years, same thing, review after 3 years, that was the agreement. Hey, next year, you want to talk about it? Wonderful, have fun. It's on the table. But we had 3 years, let's keep it the same, let's look at the biologist situation and then move on. So, thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion up here? Any more public comment? Come on up, Mike.
For the record, Mike Smith, Reno. This may have happened before I became involved. Is there somewhere where this agreement is on the record? Because I've had it thrown at me a number of times, 3 years, 5 years. Dr. Carl Lackey, he said it wouldn't matter. It's all statistically insignificant as far as the size of this hunt. But that's, you take the data for what it's worth. But is there somewhere that is in the record that we had a 3-year agreement? Because I just don't recall it over the past 2 years. And if somebody could provide that to me, that'd be fantastic. Thank you very much.
Commissioner Macbeth?
Yeah, I think we, prior to 2 years ago, because we've been doing this a lot longer than 2 years, that we talked about that early on, that we, because it was a new hunt, that we, were proposing a lot of, everything was new. And so we basically said, we'll come back. This is what we're going to do now, but we're going to come back and revisit this in 3 years. I think it was 3 years. It was either 3 or 5. But this was back when we first were, when the bear hunt was first proposed. So if you come in 2 years ago, you may have missed those, but it should be in the record.
Okay. Because that was, I remember you saying when you were chair, let's make my dates right here, September 2011, I think it might have been when you guys voted for the regulations to be permanent. And I remember you specifically saying, we're going to do this year, but next year the hunt might look significantly different, including the Tahoe Basin. So there seems to be inconsistencies from 3 years to next year it might be different to now you're saying another year before we look at this again. Just trying to get my head wrapped around it. Thanks, Drew.
Yeah, just for clarification, and in my discussions yesterday, I know there's not a formal agreement, and I don't remember saying that I would have an agreement to look 3 years. Where I made the statement with looking at 3 years of data specific to the hunt yesterday, and even today in this discussion, I believe that's what the black bear management plan says, is we'll conduct the hunt for 3 years, review all the data, make whatever necessary adjustments are needed. So in my opinion, any other changes, whether it be permanent regulations or the CR, should be looked at holistically all at one time, kind of on that schedule that's within the bear management plan.
Okay.
Did I agree to that when I approved the permanent hunt? No. Did you agree to that? No, not that I know of. So
Yeah, I was just confused. Like
yeah,
I said, I've
maybe
heard
the
it
word-
bounced around
maybe the
by
term
different
agreement
people.
probably caused some
Okay,
confusion, but yeah.
all right, thanks, sir.
Commissioner Rain?
I believe that was call it an individual commitment on behalf of many people on the commission at the time that people threw out there that, hey, this is a good idea, but hey, commission changes, people changes, face changes, you know. Commissioner Lane is not bound upon what I agreed to a couple years ago, and I am not strictly legally bound by that. That was, at that time, I agreed to it. If something vital came up and said we absolutely need to change it in 2 years, sure. I'd change it, go ahead and say, well, you know, 3 years too long ago with 2. It was a individual commitment to, that was a good idea at the time, and I don't see any reason to change that at this time. So next year it'd be good to look at that and maybe we get a little more data out of it. That's the agreement, as I recall, was individual general commitment, by no means binding.
Come on up.
Casey Nelson, president of Nevada High Desert Houndsman. It's already changed. The first year we did the Tahoe Basin, so it really doesn't matter. If something big comes up, change it. If you guys think it needs to be changed, change it. We've changed it, the sow thing, when we changed that from having, the 5 sows, whatever, to unlimited sows, they said we were gonna kill every sow in the country. We killed 1 sow. So I think we've already proved we're changing it on a daily basis. So whatever you guys think you need to change, I think you should go ahead and change it, because there's no set rule that we gotta wait 3 years. So if there's a big issue, take care of it.
I don't know if there's any rule for this. We're right in the middle of a topic, and I've never been put in this situation, but it looks like we have Mr. Mayor's going to walk out the door. And I did not want to let him get out the door without another thank you. I in no way would have wanted your job for the last 6 years, without a doubt. You probably had the hardest job in the state of Nevada. So I appreciate it. I just didn't want you to slip out the door. I hate interrupting an agenda item like this, but it would have been not right to let you get out the door without recognizing you one more time. Anybody else have anything else to say?
I want to say it's been an honor and a pleasure to serve the commission and this department and the great employees, the sportsmen, and you've all been great to me, and I appreciate everything, and I'm not going to go away. I'll be around. But anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you for letting me interrupt the very important topic we have going here, but I felt that was important to not let it get by.
Yep.
So.
Goodbye.
I'd make a motion to approve the 2013 black bear seasons as proposed for any legal weapon hunt 6151 and companion hunt any legal weapon 6251.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Rob came to the podium for something, so I want to know what he has to say before we take a vote.
I just want to stand corrected. It is a $30,000 civil penalty, not $20,000.
Okay. All right, any further discussion? Commissioner McNish.
Thank you. And just real quick, it was kind of through the discussion, it was almost implied that it had been proposed in the paperwork that we were going to a 24-hour as part of the discussion, and that's not the case. It's clearly that the hunt would remain as it is, which is does not include 24 hours. And despite my concerns in the past with the quotas and some other aspects of the hunt, I have from day one supported the concept of hunting bear and as a viable wildlife management tool. And I'll support the season as I have in the past, the season settings.
Okay, Commissioner Lane.
I haven't supported I'm sorry, I am not a supporter of the black bear season. I'm not going to vote against the motion that's currently on the floor because it might sound like I'm voting for 24 hours, so I'm going to abstain on this vote.
Okay. Commissioner Rain?
Just making sure
Oh,
she,
okay, you were just,
trying to help out.
anybody else have any comments?
And everyone's clear that the motion does not contain a 24-hour, there's no change
No change.
as written, it's, yeah,
Okay.
accept the approval for the recommendation.
Okay, so we have a motion, a second, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And one abstention? Okay. You got that, Suzanne, we're all good? Okay, thank you.
The last part of the Commission Regulation 13-04 is the emergency hunts, the framework for emergency hunts. We do have some small differences. We're probably going to be using this more than less, primarily with elk. And we're recommending that if a particular season has more than 20 tags, then we'll hold a computerized drawing that has less than 20 tags. Our staff, our licensed staff, will seek the alternates off the unsuccessful list to the closest season and establish or attempt to establish tags in that process. But the numbers, in terms of total numbers, has not changed. Not to exceed 2,000. The hunt numbers for the various mule deer, pronghorn, elk are all the same.
All right. Any questions, Commissioner Rain?
I would request the department do everything it possibly can to keep this number as close as possible to 0, to do everything it possibly can to incorporate anything that would be needed in an emergency hunt into tag quotas when that comes up, because, you know, an emergency hunt should really be an emergency hunt. If you know the I mean, you guys know the difference as well as anybody else. But so please, you know, if you're foreseeing that in the future, that, hey, we're probably going to need some more elk taken out of a unit, throw that out there in the model and in the forecast. And if you think, well, 30 is good, but we're probably going to give out a few more in emergency, let us know at quota setting so we can take due and appropriate action. I think it's much more fair to the hunters and whatnot to do that at that time rather than emergency later. Thank you. When possible.
Any other commission comments? Any public comment? No cabs? All right, I'll bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Drew?
Yeah, and the only comment I'd have is for each of these species listed, and I'm not concerned about it, but just, it never came up in the cab meetings and it hasn't come up here today. I mean, in essence, 2,000 tags could get allocated without this commission or the county advisory board saying anything about it. And I don't have a problem with that right now, and I think it's probably a temporary 2-year thing, but just something to keep in mind, kind of a buyer beware. That's what we're signing up for here, so.
Maureen?
Mr. Chairman and Commission, I might have a little background information in regards to that number. I think that was the result of hopefully being able to cover something like that fire disaster hunt we had a few years ago where we had to get 1,000 tags out.